You know, in the world of espionage, some operations are so complex, so audacious, they sound like they're straight out of a movie. But this was very, very real. A plan that was years in the making, and it was executed with terrifying precision. We're talking phantom companies, executives who vanished into thin air, and a weapon hidden in plain sight. This is the story of how an entire organization was tricked, how its leader was lured into a deadly trap, and how the Middle East was changed forever. And it all came down to one single, devastating question.
And that's really where it all begins, with a question that totally redefines the modern battlefield. How do you take a simple message, something meant to communicate, and turn it into a weapon? The answer to that question would weaponize the very trust that holds a group together, and it led to one of the most elaborate and chilling intelligence operations of the 21st century.
So picture this. It's an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, September 17th, right around 3:30 p.m., all across Lebanon. In cars, in offices, on the street, thousands of men got a message. Nearly 3,000 pagers, which were the main communication tool for Hezbollah's members, all started buzzing at almost the exact same time. But here's the thing, this wasn't a message they could read. It was a trigger. And in an instant, those little devices turned into thousands of tiny, lethal bombs. The attack itself was absolutely devastating, but its real purpose was strategic. See, this wasn't just about hurting people, it was about blinding them. In one single coordinated blow, Hezbollah's entire command and control network was effectively gone. It created total chaos, total fear, and it was just setting the stage for what was about to happen next. But to really understand the sheer audacity of this whole operation and, why it happened in the first place, we've got to go back. We need to rewind the clock to the war-torn landscape where Hezbollah was first born. So Hezbollah really emerged from the utter chaos of the Lebanese civil war. Back in 1982, Israel invaded, and Iran saw golden opportunity. It sent in its Revolutionary Guard to build a new proxy army from the ground up. And this group, Hezbollah, announced its presence with deadly force. But its destiny was truly sealed in 1992 when Israel assassinated its leader, paving the way for a young, pretty unknown cleric named Hassan Nasrallah to take control. And here is the crucial irony. According to Israeli army sources themselves, they came to deeply regret that assassination. In trying to cut off the head of the snake, they had accidentally promoted their most dangerous enemy. Nasrallah would then spend the next 30 years turning Hezbollah into an absolute powerhouse. Now, to really get the stakes of this assassination, we have to understand the man at the center of it all. For decades, Hassan Nasrallah was this incredibly complex, deeply polarizing figure. To some, he was a resistance hero. To others, a sectarian warlord. His story is just this dramatic rise and an equally dramatic fall in the eyes of millions. And this just perfectly illustrates that paradox. In 2006, after fighting Israel to a standstill, he was a superstar across the Arab world. They were chanting his name in the streets of Cairo. He was a symbol of defiance. But that entire image was shattered in 2013 when he sent his fighters into Syria to save Assad. The hero of the resistance became, for so many, the butcher of Syria. It completely changed his legacy forever. So this polarizing legacy, it put a massive target on his back for decades. In the 2024 operation, well, it wasn't just simple sabotage. It was the final act of that long hunt, a meticulously planned global intelligence operation, a true ghost operation that relied on deception at every single level. The real genius of the trap was how it turned Hezbollah's own security protocols against them. See, Nasrallah feared their phones were compromised, so he ordered all his men to use these supposedly secure pagers. The booby-trap devices then showed up with a message looking like it came from their own leadership, telling them to press 2 buttons at the same time to decrypt it. Well, that action just completed the circuit. So how on earth did they pull this off? Well, they created a phantom supply chain that literally stretched across the globe. It all started with a legit company in Taiwan, Gold Apollo. They say they licensed their brand to a company in Hungary. But that Hungarian company, it was a shell, and it passed the devices through another shell company, this time in Bulgaria, before the pagers finally made their way to Hezbollah in Lebanon. And the people who were supposedly running these companies? Ghosts. The director in Hungary, a woman with a suspiciously flawless resume, just vanished. The only employee of the Bulgarian company, he flew to the US and disappeared. And right after the attack, all their websites, all their online records, meticulously scrubbed from the internet. A perfect cover-up. So, here's the really crucial part. How was the weapon hidden? The most likely theory is that the explosive charge was concealed inside the battery itself. A special battery was engineered where a third of its material was replaced with high explosives. I mean, it's an incredible feat of engineering that made the weapon completely undetectable. But here's the thing. The pager attack, as devastating as it was, that was only phase 1. It was just the bait. The real goal was to use the chaos that followed to spring an even bigger trap. I mean, just think about it for a second. Your entire secure communications network is gone. You can't trust your walkie-talkies, which, by the way, were targeted in a second attack the very next day. You can't use phones, panic is setting in. What do you do? Well, just as the planners predicted, the leadership was forced to do the one thing they had avoided for years, meet face-to-face in a central bunker. You can see the trap snapping shut on this timeline. On the 17th, the pagers go off. On the 18th, the walkie-talkies. For 10 days, the organization is just blind and reeling. And then finally, on September 27th, Nasrallah gathers his top commanders in what he thought was his most secure location. He had just walked right into the crosshairs. But how do they know exactly where that bunker was? Well, it's believed they used this stunningly clever technique. Apparently, Israeli jets had flown over Beirut before, intentionally breaking the sound barrier. A sonic boom creates a unique sound wave. That wave was reportedly picked up by microphones all over the area. And, this is the key, on a recording from a press conference Nasrallah had once given from inside that same bunker. By comparing the sound waves, they could triangulate its exact coordinates. Just brilliant. So, with the location confirmed, the final strike was just overwhelming. 8 F-15 fighter jets dropped 83 tons of American-made bunker-busting bombs on the target, which was buried 20 meters underground. The bombs were dropped one after another to basically drill through the earth and concrete, making sure there was absolutely no escape. The operation, from a tactical perspective, was a masterpiece. Hassan Nasrallah, along with his top commanders, was eliminated. But this leads to the biggest question of all. What happens now? What's the future of this fight when you cut the head off the snake? To even try to answer that, you have to understand that Hezbollah is so much more than a militia. It's really a state within a state. They run schools, hospitals, even waste collection services. They have this massive military wing, sure, but they also have deep, deep roots in the Shia community and hold seats in the Lebanese parliament. They're woven into the very fabric of the country. So Israel's strategy is crystal clear: decapitation. Take out the leaders and the organization will fall apart. But as a lot of experts are pointing out, there's a fundamental flaw in that thinking. You can kill people, but how do you kill an idea? Especially an idea of resistance, no matter how controversial, that's been around for decades. For 30 years, Hezbollah was shaped by the vision, the charisma, and the strategic mind of one man. And now, he's gone. So the Ghost operation may have won the battle, but the ultimate question still hangs in the air. Without its architect, can the powerful, dangerous, and deeply embedded idea of Hezbollah actually survive?